What's up? What's up? You are listening to her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And I am here with Cleveland Kate on this pretty warm day in the city of Cleveland. Cleveland Kate, it is the day before the 4th of July. It is July 3rd, where tomorrow everyone celebrates the independence from the British and lights a whole bunch of fireworks and cook out and have a good time. How are you doing?
I'm good. We refer to it as the first Brexit in my family because we're funny like that. It's just one of those holidays. It's one of the ones that drives me crazy because you never know what day of the week it's going to be on, right? This week it's on a Tuesday. So I had to go into the office today. There were 3 of us at work today because nobody wants to go. You had Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday off. You don't want to go in on Monday and then you got Tuesday off. It messes up the flow of the week. And then I don't know about where you live. I'm on the west side, which means there have been people in my neighborhood setting off fireworks Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. I'm sure it'll be happening tonight. And it'll go on through September until they run out of fireworks. Like, I don't know what the fascination is with the bangs and the booms and all of that. I blame men. I don't know, JPP had that issue a few years ago, right? Blew off a couple fingers. I'm sure somebody in my town of Northridge, Tucky will lose some digits this week, but and we got a puppy, my little puppy Milo. He's 3.5 months old, and he is not a fan of the booms. So we'll see how he does the next couple days, but he has not been happy since Friday night when it started.
How's Milo doing though? I know
he's good. He's getting better. He's getting better. He's not biting as much as he was. They call it mouthing.
Oh, really?
Because he's not really trying to bite you. He's teething. So, and them little baby teeth, them puppy teeth are sharp. And they remind me of a snake because they're like pointy, but they curve in. So you can't just rip your arm out if he gets a latch onto you. You got to kind of move it back forward and then roll out of it. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, you got to be careful. And your instinct when he gets you, because they're so sharp, is to just, jerk away. And that would explain all the scars and scabs. And I got stuff everywhere. But we're nearing the end of that time. He's 3.5 months. So they said around 4 months is when they'll start losing those and get their permanent teeth. They won't be bad.
Okay, so why did I not know until just recently, maybe a year or 2 ago, that dogs lose their teeth?
Yep.
I had no idea.
Yep, they do. They get a full set of but they have no teeth for 8 weeks. Oh, because they're nursing. And then around week 6 to 8 is when they start to come through. And they've got these 2 really sharp fang things on top called their canine teeth, and then 2 on the bottom. And then all of the rest of them are like little jagged things for chewing. So those start to come in right around the time they're done nursing. Because, girl, I have breastfed my children. As soon as a tooth popped out, we were done. I see these women at the mall nursing a 3-year-old. I'm like, I don't know how you're nursing somebody with a full set of teeth, but I digress. Anyway, I researched it, and they start to get teeth at 8 weeks, and then anywhere between 3 and 4 months, usually 3 to 5 months, they'll start to lose them. And then by 6 to 8 months, all their baby teeth are gone and their new teeth are in. What cracked me up is the website I was looking at. It was like petmd.com or something. Said, don't be surprised if you find like teeth on the floor in the living room it'll fall out and just lay on the floor. But it also said, don't be surprised if you don't find any teeth, because sometimes they just swallow them. And I'm like, okay. And apparently that's not a bad thing, because I was about to be like, please don't tell me I got to start gathering up his poop and looking through it for teeth, because I'm not. I'm not that kind of dog mom. You feel me? I'm like, you know what? If it's gone, it's gone. There ain't no tooth fairy for my puppy. So
yeah, I was wondering if they eat them.
Like 3 to 8 months is when they'll have teeth and then start to lose them. So, I mean, you figure they live anywhere from 10 to 15 years, depending on what breed of dog you have. They really only have their baby teeth for a little bit of time.
Right. It's like an accelerated process.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's just part of, nature and evolution, that they need little tiny sharp teeth to be able to eat, once they're done nursing. And then as they get older, what they need their teeth to do changes. Like in the wild, they need to be able to hunt things down and grab onto and hold them as puppies. They just need to rip, you're providing food for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are a lot of animals, wild animals, that do the same kind of thing. The mom is still providing food for them until they get to a certain age, and then they need to go hunt and get their own teeth. So I don't know what his hunting teeth are going to look like. We'll see. But they can't be as bad as these baby teeth. And so he's constantly chewing on me, Joe, my feet, my shoes, stuff. So we try to redirect him, give him something else to chew. It's not working real well, but we try. We try.
Oh, is that why they always like chewing on shoes and stuff like that?
When they're little, because they're teething. And then it like soothes them like a baby with a pacifier or a binky. Then when they don't need it anymore because they're not having the pain, it's soothing and it's comforting. So that's why we've been trying to switch out for like those dog bones that they can chew, or a stuffed animal, so that they can get the comfort of chewing something, and it makes their gums feel better, and it'll help wiggle the teeth out. But then when they're older and they don't have that pain and they don't need that, and they just want that comfort when they get anxious, they're like, okay, these are my toys, these are my things that I'm allowed to chew on. And so we're redirecting him like away from my shoes, away from my socks and clothes and pajamas and underwear and whatever he finds on the floor in the closet, he's out chewing on in the living room. No. So we immediately take those away and give him something he's allowed to have. So, you need a puppy, Rachel, or a cat. You need to be one of the
can't. My landlord won't let us have any pets. I can't have anything, because I don't know if you remember during the pandemic, I talked about how I almost bought a snake from the pet supply store. Yeah. And the only reason I didn't was because I didn't know where I was, I'm outgrowing my apartment kind of, and I wasn't sure where I was going to put the cage at, and I'm like, they only eat like once a month and they only go to the restroom once a month. So I'm like, I can take care of that. That's no big deal. I can go out of town and not have to worry about my snake. But I was like, also they eat dead mice, so I'd have like a freezer full of mice, so I just kind of wasn't feeling that. But yeah, I can't have any pets, but I'm more of a dog person than a cat person. Like I know, like,
but you're away so much for work and going to games, and you're out of the house so much that a cat would be chill with you being gone. A dog needs a little more time. That's what we're struggling with Milo. Between the three of us, somebody comes home at lunch still and walks him, or somebody works from home, so they're here with them. So we're trying to, not leave him alone for long periods of time, just because it's not fair to him, especially while he's a puppy. He wants to go outside and run around and stuff, and it's just not fair to keep him cooped up in the house all day. So it's a hard decision to make, and a hard thing to do, to kind of find the right pet that fits your lifestyle. So it's you get the enjoyment of a pet, but then it's fair to the pet that they have an owner who can give them whatever kind of time and attention they need, and then squeeze that into whatever the contract is for where you're living. Because, not everybody, has a living situation where they can just do what they want. There are rules they got to abide. But if you want to move, I'll find you a new apartment that'll let you have a dog. You can come live closer to me. You live too far away.
I love my place, though. That's the problem.
You're too far away.
During the pandemic, I really wanted a pet, and I asked my landlord, and he was like, no. So I was like, okay, I'll leave it at that,
See, there's your first problem. Didn't everybody ever tell you that you're supposed to ask forgiveness instead of permission?
Well, I don't want to be kicked out. So if he catches,
would they kick you out?
Yeah, they would. That's what
I don't know. I think they'd be happy to have somebody who pays their rent on time every month, which I know you do. I don't know. If it ain't causing no problems, nobody will know.
I know.
All right, we should probably talk sports. I'd talk about my dog all day.
Yeah, Mickey says, hi, beautiful Rachel. Hi, beautiful Kate. Thank you, Mickey. Hopefully you have a wonderful holiday tomorrow. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about these Guardians.
Are you doing anything tomorrow? I'll interrupt you. We'll talk about 4th of July. Are you doing anything tomorrow? I figure you're probably going to baseball game. I wish we had like a double header.
Oh, I'm kind of upset at the game times, being 7:00 today and 7:00 tomorrow with the 4th of July going on, knowing that people want to do stuff. So yeah, I got something going on tonight, and I got something going on tomorrow. So I'll be watching from television or whatever. But
what happened to the 1 o'clock? What happened to the 1 o'clock games?
I don't know.
I was at that one a week and a half ago.
Yeah, you should have told me you were there. I was actually there.
In April, I said to my boss, hey, let's all do a Guardians game for the office. And he's like, yeah, you want to be in charge? I'm like, sure, I'll go find a game and I'll order tickets and submit an expense report and stuff. And June 22nd was the first 1:00 game I could find.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only a couple more. I'm like, what happened to, on a day like the 4th of July, on a Saturday or Sunday, what happened to day games?
Well, they stopped really doing the getaway games so much kind of at June, July-ish or whatever. And I don't know if you paid attention to start times. So now the games start at 7 p.m. and that kind of started in June. And kind of one of the purposes that they're kind of, they tested the 6-10 starts a couple years ago because they wanted that downtown crowd to stay down there and go to a game. So that's one of the reasons why they moved the game time up to 6:10 because they wanted the downtown dollars. But I don't really think it's working as much. And then closer to the ending of the season, the later months of the season, the game times go back to 7 o'clock. Now the getaway days, it just depends on, if they have to travel, but you notice there's less getaway games, those 1 o'clock games, if they're not traveling or so. So that was the first getaway game I've been able to make it to because I was always working. So I was there at that Oakland game that you were. So I wish I knew that you were there so I could come visit you.
It looks like Saturday, July 15th is a 3 o'clock. Sunday, the 16th is a 1:35. Wednesday, the 19th is a 12:35, but that's in Pittsburgh. Ain't nobody want to go to Pittsburgh. 7/7. There's a Wednesday at 1 here on July 26th. I mean, it's like what, once a month we get a home game at 1 o'clock?
But they had so many.
And that Thursday game was packed.
First 2 months.
Like I was blown away by how many people and busloads of people rolling in and stuff. Kids are out of school, old folks home sending busloads of old folks. I kept getting stuck in the walkway behind 3 people with walkers that could barely move. And I thought to myself, baseball is an old folks sport. Like, I don't know what it is. When I'm at Cleveland Browns Stadium, I never get stuck behind some old blue-haired lady with a walker. Same with the Guardians when I'm over at Romo Fijo. I don't get stuck waiting behind, the old folks brigade. Do old folks like baseball? Is it the pace of the game? Is it the game itself? Is it just more welcoming to the old folks? I have no idea, but I will tell you, I see busloads of old folks at the baseball game.
Yeah, and I think that the Cleveland Guardians do good as far as welcoming older folks, making things, handicap accessible. There's a lot of resources and stuff like that. So, and you notice, obviously, Rocket Mortgage Arena is much smaller, but I feel like Jacobs Field, excuse me. I feel as if Progressive Field is very easy to navigate as well too. So I think that might be one of the reasons why people.
Well, they have day games, right? There's no day games for basketball,
except for
football games are packed and sold out. So maybe that contributes to it for Browns games. But there are so many baseball games. I wonder if the Guardians reach out to some of the senior centers, assisted living centers, stuff like that, and kind of, do group sales deals. Old folks stay at the park. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I don't see that many old folks at other events, and I just wondered if it was a baseball thing about baseball itself, or if it was just there's so many games and so many options, and you can go for 1 o'clock, and 7 o'clock's past our bedtime.
Part of that too. Yeah, I think that's part of that too. And, you kind of see some older people at the Cavs games as well, but you don't really see them at NFL games because the facilities are so big. The crowd is kind of raucous.
Yeah.
Mickey told us that he's going to be watching the Mariners at the Giants afternoon game tomorrow. So you do have some afternoon games. Lucky him. He said that if I get out of my apartment, I can always come move in with Kate. Ricky says Pittsburgh is a nice city. Hey, Cleveland Kate. Hey, Rachel, love the bangs. Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate you. Hopefully you have a good holiday as well.
Girl, I do love your bangs. I wanted to get bangs, and the girl that cuts my hair is my daughter's best friend. Every time she knows I have an appointment with Jamie, she's texting her, "Don't you dare give my mother bangs." I'm like, if I want bangs, I'm gonna get bangs. You don't want me to give myself bangs. Look at this. Y'all don't want me giving myself bangs. Nothing good can happen for if you see me with bangs, you will know that I had some kind of an emotional breakdown and cut my own hair, because that's what it means every time. So I need my bangs back.
I think it's good to try different stuff.
Pittsburgh is a nice city. It's very similar to Cleveland. It's the buildings, the atmosphere, the people. It's very similar. I'm still trying to figure out how they hit the sports lottery with having three major professional league teams that are all black and yellow. Like, how you get the same color? My wardrobe is a hot mess between Ohio State, the Guardians, the Cavs, the Browns. Ain't nobody sharing colors. I got all these different my closet is a mess. Why can't I live in a town where we just have two colors and it covers all the games and I'm good to go?
Ain't that funny though? I'm like, it's kind of creative, for fans, because you can interwear, stuff like that. You know how you go to a Guardians game, you see people wearing Cavs gear or stuff like that. So you can kind of do that with the colors all matching.
I never see anyone wearing Cavs gear to a Guardian. I see Browns gear everywhere.
Really?
Yes. I see Browns gear everywhere, regardless of what the sport is or the event or the movie or the museum or whatever. I see Browns gear everywhere. I don't know that I see Guardians gear at the Cavs or Cavs gear at a Guardians game. I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, every once in a while you see a smattering of Ohio State gear and stuff like that. So, I feel like people wear what they have. Hey, Chris has sent us some fire signs. And Mickey told Chris, hey, Chris. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, Cleveland Kate. And then when we come back, we're going to get into these Guardians who have a pretty series tonight.
Can we talk about pitching? We got pitching problems.
Oh, yeah, we definitely going to talk about pitching. We're going to get into that. So we're going to talk about that bullpen. We're going to talk about starting pitching. So we're going to be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Right now, from July 21st through July 23rd, and meet us at the intersection of wealth and health for the Peace Foundation Wealth Wellness Weekend. Make the connection between wealth, health, and wellness with 3 days of inspiring events for you and the entire family. Get moving along the path to a wealthy, healthy life for generations to come. On Friday, pull up to the free Wealth Creation Kickoff Block Party at the Rice Branch of the Cleveland Public Library, 11535 Shaker Boulevard, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Enjoy food trucks, music, vendors, fun activities, and a treasure trove of information and resources to support your wealth creation goals. On Saturday at 10 a.m., come on back to 11535 Shaker Boulevard for the free Wealth Creation Symposium to connect with financial experts and take with you tools and making the most of things like saving for college, estate planning, and more. Then, on Sunday, set your alarm to meet us at 9 a.m. downtown at Warner's Park on the East 9th Street Pier for the Wealth Wellness Walk, Steps Against Inequity. Walk with us, run with us, or just take a leisurely stroll past iconic Cleveland landmarks and step into wellness with health checks, cooking demonstrations, yoga, scavenger hunt, and more activities, illuminating the fact that health and wealth go hand in hand. Details and registration for all Wealth Wellness Weekend events can be found at phoebefoundation.org and eventbrite.com. Wealth, health, and wellness starts right here in the CLE during Wealth Wellness Weekend, July 21st through the 23rd, brought to you from Phoebe Foundation and supported by Wells Fargo, Premier Bank, and Ohio Savings Bank. This message is brought to you by the Phoebe Foundation and 95.9 FM WOVU. Our voices united. Burtonville Car Community Radio.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her and Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. I'm here with Cleveland Kate. And make sure you keep it locked right here on your regular radio dial at 95.9 FM. You can download our app so you can listen to us on the go. You can also listen online at WOVU.org, and you can always contact the station at any time with any questions, comments, or concerns at 216-271-0959. And I'm here with Cleveland Kate, and we're going to go ahead. We've talked about puppies. We talked about what we're doing. You didn't say what you were doing on your holiday. What are you doing, Kate?
So I'm a firm believer in hanging out with family on holidays and swimming whenever possible and not owning my own pool because that's way too much work. So I have made friends and family with people who have pools. It's important to have a friend with a pool.
Or a boat.
And so tomorrow we'll be going to my sister-in-law's house. She has a pool. Burgers and dogs.
Okay. What
Burgers
about
and
you got a
dogs.
friend that got a boat?
Wednesday we're actually grilling and smoking. Wednesday we're having some people over Thursday night, a group that my husband belongs to. And so we're doing pulled pork. We'll do a smoked beef brisket with some burnt ends and then chicken thighs. So we'll be barbecuing and smoking everything up probably Wednesday night for Thursday. But for the 4th of July, that's like burgers and dogs, watermelon and cantaloupe and coleslaw and baked beans and corn and, all that traditional stuff.
I love it
What
all.
are you
Ricky
doing?
said black and yellow is much better than brown and orange. Whatever, Ricky. He said he loves the wine and go to the Cavaliers. And Mickey said we're both a hot mess. So tomorrow I am going over to my cousin's house. So he lives out in Stowe, and we have a good time. So usually he puts something in the fryer, and grill out, and has a whole bunch of family over there. So pretty excited about that. We're gonna have a good time. Usually we have a good time whenever we go out there. So I'll be out in Stowe tomorrow, kicking it with some family. So I'm super excited about that. And that's that. So let's go ahead and get into these Guardians. So you said you wanted to talk about pitching. So I'll go ahead and let you open it up and I'll reply to whatever you say.
How many games I don't even know how many games. Our ace is 5-5.
Yeah, I know.
Shane Bieber had not been Shane Bieber. He's been in 17 games and he's only come away with 10 decisions, which means 7 times he got pulled and then somebody else either won and lost the game. I'm not happy with our starting. He's got 5 wins. Tanner's got 5. I think Logan Allen's got like 3. Trevor's got 3. Like, what is wrong with our pitching? I can't even get my starting pitching is not good. Clase has not been consistent. He's fallen apart. Our bullpen has been a hot mess. And I don't want to blame the bullpen because when my starting pitching can't get out of 5 innings without the bullpen having to come in, I can't blame them for being worn out and tired because they're having to come in too soon. I need 6 innings out of my starters. Period. I need 6 innings and I'm not getting it.
When Shane Bieber started, I believe it was the start against the Milwaukee Brewers. Drew Rosenhaus came to the game, his agent, the super baseball agent and stuff like that. And Shane laid a clunker against the Milwaukee Brewers. So I was like, that's very interesting because, obviously Shane wants a new contract and, he pretty much isn't going to, all signs point to he's not going to come back to the Cleveland Guardians because, he's going to want more than
you
obviously
want a new contract, you want big money, then when you start 17 games, you win 10 of them.
Yeah. So I'm very surprised at his record. I'm very surprised at that.
Yeah.
So right now he's not doing us any favors with his record of 5-5. Let me check his ERA. He's not getting beat up too much, but when he does, it's ugly.
It's 3.5.
3.5. Okay.
Tanner Bibby's 5-2 at 3.5. I mean, I get it. We have run support issues with the offense. The offense is still and always has been very streaky, very hot and cold. But my boy Miles is still hitting well. Jose is still Jose. I just love some Jose. I wish Frankie had stayed. I think Frankie wishes Frankie had stayed. I think maybe Frankie leaving and what happened to him made Jose reflect a little bit and think, you know what? I'm going to call my agent and tell him, listen, do what we need to do to stay here because don't nobody want to play for the Mets unless you're knocking your numbers out the park, you can't have a problem in New York because they will eat you alive. I think Frankie rues the day, no matter how much money he has in the bank, rues the day that he left Cleveland. And I'm super happy that Jose's here. So thumbs up for that.
Yeah.
Andres Jimenez, he was better last year. I don't know that he's going to make the All-Star this year. Miles Shaw, I love Shaw, and you got to give it. His hitting is better this year. His defense is still grade A stellar. His hitting has gotten better, so we're all good with that. I just don't know what to do. We're hot and cold again with the hitting. So when your starter's only getting 0, 1, maybe 2 runs out of the offense, it's hard to do. And I think, I heard Tom Hamilton talk about it the other day, and I really thought about it, and I wanted to talk to you about it. He says, this is a team that can't come back once they're 5 or 6 runs down. They can put up 5 or 6 runs early, and they can, and they can battle you. You can put up 5, they'll put up 5. You do that early. But that from a mentality standpoint, they can't come back once they're down 5 or 6 runs. And I don't know. He tried to say it was because of the way they play small ball. We don't have a lot of home run hitters. But you can come back with anything playing small ball, right? I mean, that's the beauty of baseball. There is no time limit. As long as you're putting the ball in play, that inning can go on and on. There is plenty of time to catch up from 6 runs down. In football, you get down by 6 touchdowns, there ain't enough time on the clock, no matter how good you are. But in baseball, you have all the time in the world. And I just wondered what your thoughts were on his pretty much his comment that if we get to the 6th inning and we're down by 5, 6 or more runs, that they're done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now they've came back from 3 and 4 against like Oakland and stuff like that in Milwaukee, and ended up losing those games. But, one of the things is depending on how early you get down, if you get down in that first, second inning, which has happened at times. I remember going to the Colorado Rockies game and they were down like 6-1 and, like it was the 3rd inning. So, they definitely didn't come back from that. No hits or anything like that. They just, lost a clunker. But I think, they've had some come from behind wins, but I agree with that assessment. Once you get down 5, 6 runs, it's kind of hard to come back. And I think it's kind of hard to come back for any team to come back from a deficit like that. And this is a team that doesn't really hit for power. So that's one of the things, like they hit a lot of solo shots, but they're not hitting home runs when people are on base, and they're leaving a lot of men stranded on base. That's one of the statistics that a lot of people probably aren't paying attention to as well. Like, people are getting on base. You just don't have a lot of people driving them home. And, one of the things is, they're starting to hit now. At the beginning of the season, they weren't hitting. They were getting in some jams and stuff like that. But they're starting to hit a little bit. They got embarrassed. I don't know if you caught the game Friday night, but they got embarrassed by the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
10-1. Cal Contrail, it's a team effort. But, I wanted to like directly blame, him giving up like those 6 runs on Cal. And then after that, the bullpen just got rocked. And, I think Chicago smelled blood in the water. I don't know if you saw, the shots of people panning their T-shirt like Wednesday was the greatest day ever, and stuff like that. I'm like, whatever, but yesterday's game was a kind of a crazy game where they were up, 6-0. And then, there was a 2-run shot. And then they had some defensive woes in the 9th inning that allowed the Chicago Cubs to tie the game up. But, so far we have, we own the overall series between us and the Cubs 17-16 as far as overall series go. But, you watched the defense implode yesterday. Josh Naylor, I don't know, what happened with him. It was 2 transfers that he wasn't able to make on plays directly to him, yet he did redeem himself at the very end, getting RBI that helped us win the game. But yesterday, that just wasn't a good series. Now, Tanner Bybee came in on Saturday on a nationally televised game and blew, hitters away for a win. And he had 9 strikeouts. So I think that's really good, out of one of our younger players. And then, right now you just have a lot of injuries on this team. And I think that's throwing people out of rhythm. Aaron Savali just came back. Cal just came back. But, Tanner, Logan Allen has got in there. Also, the big Gavin Williams, I believe he starts tonight. So, you've had some quality pitching out of some of these new guys that you have coming up. But, obviously they're not Tristan McKenzie because you still have the issue with Tristan McKenzie. It just came out though that he is expected to pitch sometime during the season. So I know that they said that they wanted to get a second opinion about whether or not he's going to need Tommy John surgery. And we know with Tommy John surgery, that would actually end the season for him. So, they wanted to get a second opinion on that, and they wanted to treat it conservatively, him be out, another 6 to 7 weeks. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with that. But, you definitely don't want to bring him back before he's ready, because I'm just wondering if, it's all encompassing what was initially wrong with his shoulder, went down to his elbow and stuff like that. So Tristan McKenzie is still a question mark. But, I believe that, that has thrown this pitching staff off, and, it hasn't performed at its best. And you kind of, need guys pushing the other guys. You need these starters pushing each other. And I don't really know what's up with Shane. His velocity has came down a little bit, but he's still a young player. I think Shane is only 27 years old. So, right now he's in his prime. Could it just be, hitters have studied him, there's more tape on him, and hitters are being more aggressive and they recognize his weakness. So you could have that where, batters are making an adjustment, because Tristan McKenzie had talked about, when he got rocked against Houston, is that he feels like, the scouting on him is great now, and people have more tape, and, they, make adjustments against him. So could possibly the same thing be happening with Shane? That's one of the things I'm thinking as well, too. Shane has been very dominant, but there's going to be a time where hitters catch up to you. And, one of the things that they're having a lot of interleague play. So you're facing teams that you're not really seeing that often. So,
Fair. And I think the problem on the other side of the plate, I think from what I'm seeing, I was looking at the stats, and you can actually pull the stats, the number of hits by inning. And we get far more hits in innings 1, 2, 3, and 4 than we do afterwards. Whether we win or lose the game, we're getting more hits early on. And I'm wondering if it's because our hitters are predictable, that when pitchers get to the second and third time through our order, they know what to do. The batters aren't seeing the ball as well. They're not adjusting to the pitcher. Do you know what I mean? So the pitchers are more effective later in the game, which could contribute to why, if they get off to a big lead, we're not able to come back, because our hitting isn't figuring out the pitching. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The way our hitters are figuring out Shane and our opponents. And then by the time they get to their second or third at bat, they've got a better idea of what he's going to do. And our guys don't seem to have that. They're not hitting as well later in the game. Their best games are when they're getting a lot of hits early and they get the starter out of there and they get to the bullpen. Mm-hmm. They do a lot better when they get to the bullpen. If the starter can get to that, fifth, sixth inning where they're on their third time through the lineup, they're just slam dunking and we're getting nothing. And I don't know if that's a hitting coach thing. I don't know if that's a we miss Mickey Callaway thing. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna start. I know. I try to book out MC.
Well, Chris Valeka is a hitting coach, and he had his wedding during the playoffs, which was kind of crazy to me. It's like, how about having some confidence in your team that they're going to make the playoffs and not schedule a wedding during the baseball playoffs? Frankie Cruz, what's up, Frankie? He has some fire symbols. Appreciate you listening. Good to see you there. But also, it could be that we're struggling against other teams' bullpens too, because if they're coming out and we're not hitting as well, obviously their pitching is proven effective. But like you said, they got to put runs up quick and be able to, sustain that. And, one of the things is our bullpen is having a lot of woes right now as well, and giving up runs and stuff like that. You go back to that Kansas City game where the last one in the series where you're winning and then you allow them to come back. And yesterday, it was kind of a series of errors too that allowed them to come back yesterday, that allowed Chicago to come back. And just, on that Friday where they got beat 10-1 by Chicago, I guess nobody had it that day, and it just was what it was. But Kate, we're going to go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we're still going to talk a little Guardians, and then we're going to get into Cleveland Cavaliers because they've been making some moves. The Browns have been silent, but we know that training camp is coming up soon. So we're going to take a break right quick. You are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
celebrating the 48th anniversary of lovely D. David, our very own radio angel. Meet us at 5 o'clock p.m. at Sanctuary Missionary Baptist Church, 4004 East 131st Street in Cleveland. Lovely D. David, 48 years and counting, providing an epic gospel radio experience, bringing the best in gospel music to the city of Cleveland. Roll out the red carpet and put on your Sunday best for an evening to remember. Get ready for incredible performances by the Elite Jewels, Fat Boy Family and Friends, New Revelation, The Spiritual Believers, Starlighters Gospel Singers, Roots Legacy, soloist Bonita Jenkins of Temple Missionary Baptist Church, The Sensational Saints, and special guests, the Courts and Gospel Singers of Akron, Ohio. Plus, praise and worship by Puna. Your mistress of ceremony, Sister Deborah D. Martin, will usher you through this 48th anniversary celebration of our radio angel, none other than lovely D. David. We'll see you Sunday, July 9th at Sanctuary Missionary Baptist Church, 4004 East 131st Street at 5 o'clock p.m. For information on how to attend, call 216-372-8466. That's 216-372-8466. This message is brought to you by lovely D. Vaden and 95.9 FM, WOVU, Our Voices United, Burtonville Car Community Radio.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right. Welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And I got my girl, Cleveland Kate, with me joining us on July 4th Eve. So super excited about 4th of July. I don't know why I like 4th of July so much. I guess I just love holidays. So super excited about that tomorrow. So tomorrow there will be no show. So WOVU will be closed in observance for the holiday, and we will be playing a ton of music. So hopefully you enjoy the ton of music going on. But Cleveland Kate, it looks like we're going to be taking on the Kansas City Royals at least twice this month. We just finished a series with them. So this is another opportunity for this team to regain the lead in the AL Central. That right now they are tied with Minnesota, but they regained the lead for like one game and then lost the lead. So, they're right there. They're tasting it. They're right there against the Minnesota Twins. So it looks like we don't see the Twins again for a little bit. But we're headed into the All-Star break. So as soon as we have this series against the Braves, which is going to be a pretty big series for this team, we play Kansas City again. Then you have the break for the All-Star a couple of days, and then they take on the Texas Rangers, who are doing really well out there in the West. And then also you have Pittsburgh Pirates. So they're on the road for a little bit. So we have 2 weeks with almost no baseball in Cleveland. So that's going to be a little bit different. But as far as the All-Star game, while we're talking about it, Jose Ramirez and Emmanuel Clase were selected to the All-Stars. So what are your thoughts about that? They're going to be All-Stars.
I love that. I think it's right. I think Clase slipped off a little bit in the last few days, but
yes,
he'll figure it out. I feel bad for Josh Naylor. I think he has put up good enough numbers to get in. I'm wondering if his brother Bo is causing some issues, like if fans voted for the wrong Naylor on accident.
I don't see how Bo.
Maybe if we added their votes together, we'd have got him in. It's always difficult because that's such a popularity contest, right? It's so about name recognition and the names, and I'm guilty of it. When I go vote, I vote for Guardians first, and then, I go on from there. So I don't know. I think it's fine. I'm looking forward to the break. I'm looking forward to see what they do after the break. They've had a couple nice series. They've had a couple easy series. That Milwaukee one was brutal, but the Kansas City and the Chicago ones were really good. Savali gave us a nice start. I think Tanner had 9 strikeouts the other day, which is nice. So, we'll see how it goes. They need to be a little more consistent. You're not always going to play bad teams. It's the drawback to the Oakland A's and some of the other teams that we've had on our schedule is they're really not a test to who you are. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for Jose. I think he has fun when he plays, especially for the All-Star stuff. So where is the All-Star game this year?
The All-Star game is in Seattle, I believe.
It'll probably get rained out.
Yeah, I believe it's in Seattle this year.
Either the day before or the day after the All-Star game is like the only calendar day of the year where there are 0 professional sports in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't that
Because there's no football, there's no basketball, and there's no hockey at this. And there's only like this tiny bit of time where there's no hockey because hockey season is like 11 and a half months. But I think the day before and the day after the Major League Baseball All-Star game are our only sportsless days all year.
Yeah. And Emmanuel Clase, yesterday it looked like he was going to blow that save, but the Guardians were able to get that win. But I believe he's still holding at 5 blown saves, I believe. And I think he might be the league leader in closing. So I know he was the other day, and then he became tied with somebody, but I think he might be the leader in closing for the league. So, congrats to him for making an All-Star game, and hopefully.
I know he's got like 24 saves, which is huge.
Yeah.
And he's appeared in 41 games. So don't make me do math.
Yeah. So now you don't got to do the math,
but they're not all save opportunities, right? There were only 30. In which he even had an opportunity to save. So 24 out of 30 ain't bad.
Yeah. And sometimes Tito puts him in the 8th inning, which I wonder why. I'm like, that's not a safe situation, but, sometimes I'd be a little stymied, but, I don't want to ask Tito because I don't want to be cussed out. So,
it just depends on the situation. It depends on if he's pitched recently. He might need to get his innings in if he hasn't had a couple, if there's been a couple days where he hasn't had a chance. It could be the bullpen's getting overused and they need somebody to come in and face a couple batters to just get them through. You can't, I get it. I don't always worry. Tito, we always have this conversation, Rachel. Tito has this loyalty and this way of managing players that I don't always understand. I would like to say it works for him, but I don't have a World Series win. So
yeah, because he wrote Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller, but we're gonna forget that happened.
But we're gonna let that go.
I'll never let that go. But it is what it is, and that's ancient history now. Mickey says that the All-Star game is in Seattle this year. Thank you, Mickey. I appreciate you. But you want to talk about Cleveland Cavs now? We're about to, have to have another break, though. So you know what? Let's go to break right quick. And then we come back. We're going to talk about the moves that the Cleveland Cavaliers have done.
I'm going to cry.
You going to cry? Oh, my God. I don't want you crying on air, but we're going to be right back. Don't cry, Kate. We'll be right back. Deliver me.
just one more mile to your next ace on the corner. When you have a sports-related injury, Cleveland Clinic is here for them all. For our Cavaliers, our Guardians, and athletes at all levels, our team helps keep you in the game. As the best orthopedic care in Ohio, we offer expert diagnosis, customized sports therapies, and game-changing surgery for every athlete, for every care in the world. Schedule your care today at clevelandclinic.org/access.
This message was brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic and WOVU 95.9 FM of Birdsville Cars Community Radio Station. Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right. Welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We got some Cavs talk that we got to talk about. They've been very active lately and been making some moves. And right before we went to break, Cleveland Kate informed me that she's going to cry. So I got to find out the reason why you're going to cry. I know it's not over Jetty Osmond. Please tell me it ain't over.
I love Chetty. Don't be disrespecting Chetty. I love Chetty. Can't I have one white boy on my team that I love? No, I can't have my minority representative for the NBA.
I don't know. Do you count?
No, they're going to keep Dean Wade, and he just makes me crazy because they call him D Wade, but he ain't D Wade. Dwayne Wade is Dwayne Wade. Dean Wade is Dean Wade. Quit calling him D Wade.
Is Turkish people considered white though?
Well, he ain't brown. Have you looked at him?
Yeah.
He's white.
Okay. I don't know how that go because, Italians weren't considered white back in the day and all that other stuff. So, I don't be knowing the rules. But yes, Jetty is, huh? When you think about it.
Don't confuse me. I love that they re-signed Karis LeVert. I'm sure you got problems with it.
No, I love it.
Don't. I wish he had more minutes in the right spots last year. JB's getting on my last nerve one more time. But I don't know that they brought anybody in that I'm thrilled with. They got rid of Chetty, which makes me sad. They got rid of who went with Chetty?
Jetty,
Lamar Stevens.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're San Antonio.
That's fine. I'm not missing that. But they're letting Dylan Windler go. They're letting people go. They brought in Jordan Yang. They brought in Max Struss. I don't know. I think it's too soon to start worrying about how you're going to keep Donovan Mitchell when he ain't a free agent for 3 more years. I need to win now.
No, but still.
Anything can happen between now and 2026. If he gets hurt in 2025, I won't care if I have a championship in 24.
I'm worried about Donovan because he said they're golfing with people hired up with the Knicks Association.
I think he's happy here. I think he's talking to his friends and trying to get somebody to come here, which is something I never thought LeBron did. I'm going to tell you that.
Well, I think LeBron did. I just think people didn't want to come here. This isn't a popular destination per se compared to going to Miami or California or stuff like that. So I think that he did. It's just, I think he talked to Kevin Durant about coming here, but Kevin Durant, was in a win now attitude. And, obviously the Lakers had, not the Lakers, excuse me, Golden State had just beat the Cavs. So
listen, I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, football, lacrosse, field hockey, soccer. I don't care what the sport is. You cannot tell me one player who didn't come to Cleveland because they don't like the city of Cleveland. They either didn't get offered enough money or they got a problem with the front office of the team making them an offer, because none of these people care. They will take your money and they will play on your team and just spend all their time somewhere else. They won't buy a house here. I don't think the city matters anymore. I don't think the weather, I don't think any of that matters. All that matters to these gentlemen is the paycheck. And if we have a team, obviously not the Guardians, if we have a team that's willing to pay them and overpay them, which we've had to do in some instances to get people to come here, I don't think it's a reflection on the city of Cleveland itself. I think it's a reflection on the ownership and coaching of these teams. And if I'm Kevin Durant and I'm looking at the team, do I trust ownership? Do I trust coaching? Do I think they put enough pieces together that I'm the last one they need to win a championship? Because I'm ring chasing. So I'm going to go to a team that's one piece away and I'm that piece. We have not ever been that piece. We have not been that piece in any of our sports for a long time. We're still 3-4 pieces away. I don't know what those pieces are in basketball. I don't believe what we need is on the team now. I could be wrong. We'll see how the chemistry works and how things look. But I mean, the moves were nice. I am bummed about Chetty, but I get it. It's a business.
He was a fan favorite. He was a fan favorite, and so was Lamar Stevens.
Deli, there's been a lot of them, but the problem is our fan favorites, they're my fan favorites too. Shirtless JR, love me some shirtless JR. But the problem is our fan favorites aren't the guys putting up 30, 40 a game.
No.
And playing stellar defense and winning us game. Chetty's had his moments. He was a solid player. He was good locker room guy. Deli was like that. You know, you got that high energy guy that's good in the locker room, that's got a work ethic that you don't have no problems with. You're not finding him in the backseat of a car in a Denny's parking lot or at a Cheesecake Factory. Good, solid people. And as much as I love character guys, I ain't winning a championship with character guys.
Yeah,
they look at the quarterback of my football team if you want to hear that. So I get it. It makes me sad. But to your point, let's go over the last 10 years and all of the fan favorites that have been here and gone. We're not, Donovan Mitchell should be a fan favorite. He should be a fan favorite. He is a game changer. He is a team changer. He is a magnet for talent. He makes everyone on the court better when he is on the court. He is a scoring machine. He's got more talent than God knows what to do with. Love Donovan Mitchell. I don't know what to do to get him to be a fan favorite. I think for players like that, fans in Cleveland are afraid to make him their favorite because they don't know if we're going to pay to keep him. They don't know how long he's going to be here.
You think he's a fan favorite, though?
I think he is, but I don't think he's not like a
the LeBron level.
Right. But look at Deli. People just love Deli. They tweeted about Deli. They had the Deli tray. They were, we were all praying vigils when he got dehydrated in the playoffs, and we were all,
increased.
We all love some Deli. Deli comes to town with Milwaukee or wherever he's playing, and we're clapping, and we love some Deli.
Yeah, I wonder is he still in the league?
Yeah, probably. So I don't know. Donovan Mitchell, to me, if he leaves and goes somewhere else, I don't know that we're clapping when he comes back here because he's too important. He's too big a part. And the Cavs aren't ever going to trade him or let him go. It's going to be him choosing to leave, which then we're going to get all salty about. Chetty didn't choose to go. Deli didn't choose. We let them go, right? So the fans love a guy that, well, we want you here, and the team didn't want to keep you, and it's a thing.
So Deli's playing in Australia right now. So, he got his ring.
Well, he lives there. So he's from there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
there.
He ain't hurting. And you can make over 6 figures playing basketball overseas, too. So Deli
he's
ain't
made quite a bit of money in his lifetime in the league. If he managed it right.
He sure has. Now, what do you think about this George Niang guy? So he came from Philly. He's supposed to be a great shooter. He was successful in Philadelphia. He also played in Utah with Donovan Mitchell, and he shoots over 40% from 3. We needed a wing player, and I believe that he plays forward and shooting guard as well. He plays guard and forward, so I think that he brings a key piece to probably some depth on the bench. So what are your thoughts about the pickup of George Niang?
Well, I like that he's someone that Donovan's familiar with. I like his size. He's 6'7". I wish his rebounds, he's averaging 2.5 rebounds a game. I wish he was better with the rebounds. And I think only 1 assist. You're right. His field goals are 45%. His 3-point range is 40%. That's all good. But you got to look at the 76ers as a whole and what that team was like last year. They went to the playoffs. That was a decent team. So I think they're going to miss him. But like I said, I know he and Donovan are familiar with each other. Maybe that will be sort of those, 1 + 1 is 3 kind of things where we'll get some of that. I have had my issues with Kyrie Irving, and I think that boy is 8 shades of crazy, but there is no denying that when he and LeBron were on the floor, it was magical with the no-look passes and everything else that went on. And I think we have an opportunity to see that again with these two. I am sure Donovan had some words with him and encouraged him to come here. So I guess maybe that, from what I was saying earlier, maybe that's a good thing. He's been relatively healthy, which is also good, especially in a big man. So we'll see. He's only been in the league for 7 years. So he's got enough experience, but he don't have a lot of miles on him. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you had to bolster that bench, with the departures of, Lamar Stevens didn't get a ton of playing time as it is, but, Jetty did. So, with the departure of them, you gotta, they weren't bringing anything to the bench. Our bench got outscored in numerous games. They were terrible in the playoffs. So, you got to do things to strengthen the bench. And then they got Max Strus. So, Max Strus is now, because I guess that, who did we draft? I forgot just that quick. Who did we draft, Kate? Bates, Imani Bates. I guess Imani is probably going to spend a lot of time in the G League initially, but obviously they're looking to have him play that small forward positions. But in the interim, I guess maybe they might have Max Strus possibly do that. So he was one of the best free agent wings, big on 3-pointers. He brings a lot of experience to the Cavs. He averages 11 points a game as well, and he's pretty big on 3-pointers. So that's another thing. So it looks like that they were looking to add a lot of wings. They were looking to add a lot of shooting to this roster. Some of the things that they weren't getting this season, and Donovan and Darius pretty much had to be, the end all be all, and you had to put the ball in their hands. But, you want to be able to have other players where you can put the ball in their hands, going down the stretch and, actually have somebody make a shot for you and, be able to create their own shots and stuff. And that's something that you just didn't have when it came to the players that you have right now. And then also, Max Strus just had a chance of playing the finals, and we obviously see the run that Miami had, and he was a part of that. So, you're bringing somebody with that playoff experience, especially how deep they went this year to this team. So Donovan Mitchell is only one of the only players besides Jetty with playoff experience. But now you have Max Strus. So what are your thoughts about this pickup, Kate?
Well, I like to pick up. He plays small forward with losing Lamar Stevens and Chetty. You lost two of them, right? So now you got Karis LeVert, you've got Isaac Okoro, and I think you're gonna see Max get into the rotation pretty quick. So it's a position where we needed a replacement. I like it. We'll see how he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all for this roster improving. So, they went after some of their top free agent targets. And actually, I believe we're sending a pick to Miami as well, one of our second round picks as well, I think, for that pickup of Max Strus. But, it is what it is, because they had to find a third team to be able to pull off that deal with Jetty and Lamar. So that's also, we talked about this earlier, they didn't extend a qualifying offer to Dylan Windler. So his NBA career is probably over because he could just never stay healthy. So no one probably will offer him another contract. He's an unrestricted free agent. So I feel sorry for him. He was supposed to be this sharpshooter, and it just never happened due to injury. So he'll be okay. The team
if he can get his ankle fixed, he can get on another roster. Really? But that's
you think a team would want to take a chance on him,
and then he's got to stay healthy.
You think another team would take a chance on him?
Yes. For league minimum, yeah. And at this point in his career, if he wants to play again, that's what he's going to have to accept. Mm-hmm. You can't accept I'm big man in the draft money when you can't stay healthy. When you're coming back from an ankle injury like this, he's still not 100%. So I think there are teams who will take a chance on him. We'll see. Probably bring him in at league minimum with some incentives. If you can stay healthy, if you play a certain number of games, you know what I mean? Those kind of things. I think I don't think the injury was career ending, but it has definitely been career defining and career limiting for him. It's all a matter of if he wants to do the work and then try to play.
That's correct. So Isaiah Mobley will likely stay in the G League for us, and they continue to develop him. But Cleveland Kate, that's our time. So things went really fast. A lot of Guardians, lot of Cavs, but soon we'll be ramping up our Browns talk. So I'm just hoping that you have a wonderful holiday tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday where you guys are grilling out, and we'll obviously talk soon.
I hope you have a very nice holiday. And for everyone listening, don't blow up your fingers when you're messing with the fireworks. Let the professionals do it. Don't be a backyard redneck and lose fingers and toes and whatever else. Just set your eyebrows on fire. You can't just draw them back in. That's not a thing, guys. And happy first anniversary to DJ Chris Styles. I know I wasn't invited to the wedding, but it's on my calendar. I know when it was.
Okay. All right, Kate, we got to get out of here, but happy 4th of July and talk to you soon. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We out of here.
Ooh, ooh. Bye.
Wasn't that beautiful posting? All right, I'll see you later. Bye. Thanks, Kate.